Good morning and welcome to Five a Day, and I trust that this 5 minutes will be a real blessing to you, encouragement for you, maybe make you scratch your head a little bit and think about the Bible. We are looking this week at one of the most incredible books and one of the most difficult books of the Bible to define, and that is Job. Job is full of incredible language. The English language is a wonderful language, and we have our inheritance. We go back to maybe particularly the Bible translation of William Tyndale, to Shakespeare, to Milton, and to others who have shaped that. When we look at the Bible, there are all sorts of different forms of literature. We have wonderful poetic language. The best known probably is the Psalms to us, but we probably all know 1 Corinthians 13 about love, and that's incredibly poetic language, isn't it? We have history. We have books that tell us about the kings and what they did. We also have the Gospels, which mix the history and the story of Jesus and the narratives of Jesus and the narratives that went on with other insights as well. And there's a whole raft of different kind of literature. We have the wisdom literature, and that's where I believe Job fits into when we think of Proverbs and we think of Ecclesiastes, wisdom literature. Job starts in a very interesting place. We are very human-centric. We think about ourselves as the centre of everything. But Job starts us in a different spot. It starts with a kind of scene in heaven where Satan comes along. I don't know whether he just pops in for tea or coffee, whatever. Satan comes along and chatting with God, and God says, well, what do you think of my great servant Job? There's nobody greater in the world. Nobody's so more honest and more true, more just, and saying, yeah, but that's because he's got so much stuff. Take away all his stuff and he will curse you. And so God says, all right, well, you can do that, but you can't kill him. And so it takes away all his stuff, everything, his family, his fortune, his house, everything is destroyed. And then chapter 2, we get round 2. Satan comes back and God says, have you looked at my servant Job? Isn't there anybody like him? He says, well, yeah, but, while you've got good health and life, you don't care about anything. Take away his health, and then he'll just turn his back on you. He's only in it for what he can get out of you. Very interesting. My view of Christianity is that we become Christians because it's the truth, and it's God's plan and God's purpose for us to be connected with him and to be part of his family. The idea that we become Christians just because we want some stuff, or we want a better life, or we think we've got a connection up there who's going to kind of look after us. When I go and play golf, people say, oh, well, you're connected to up there and it's going to help you. I thought, yes, if only it worked like that. If only he made all my putts go in. But some people preach that brand of, well, they call it Christianity. Don't believe it's Christianity at all. And we have across the world a lot of teaching that basically says, well, follow God and he will give you good stuff. And Job kicks in the face of all that. Now, when in chapter 2 he does get ill and he's got boils all over his face and he's there sitting on the ash heap, his wife says to him, and this is chapter 2, verse 9, his wife says to him, are you still trying to maintain your integrity? Curse God and die. But Job replied, you talk like a foolish woman. Should we accept only good things from the hand of God and never anything bad? So in all this, Job did nothing wrong. You see, Job saw his relationship with God and his trust in God and his faith in God far beyond what he had, far beyond the stuff, far beyond whether circumstances went well, whether things went well for his life, whether he got his dreams fulfilled or not. But he loved God and he trusted him. He didn't understand what was happening. As we go through Job, you'll see that there are these arguments with his three friends come along and they say, well, come on, and they're trying to unpick what Job has done wrong. They go through everything. You must have done something wrong. That was their world view, but that's not the true view. And then later on, a younger man, Elihu, comes along and says, oh, you old guys, your arguments and your logic is all out the window, here's some modern thinking. And then he goes into talking about how suffering and everything, well, God brings suffering on you and that helps you, that develops you. And again, at the end, when God speaks, he doesn't say any of that. He doesn't justify himself, doesn't say any of that. And he just basically says, I'm God, trust me. The Bible says that God doesn't tempt us, that God doesn't bring temptation across our path, and I don't believe God brings suffering deliberately across our path, but what God does is he's with us and he takes us through it. Now, I don't believe also that these pictures in chapter 1 and 2, that the devil really goes in and talks to God like that. I think Job, although Job was probably a real person, believed that this writing here in Job is like an extended parable. It's an allegory or parable. Jesus spoke a parable about the rich man and Lazarus, and this wasn't a true story, but he used it as an illustration. And I believe this is an illustration for us to understand that it's not all about us, it doesn't revolve around us. There are other things going on here. And because bad things happen to us, it isn't because we've been bad. And Job discovers that. And we need to understand that and understand and get close to God and to love God and to build our relationship with him. We'll look a little bit more tomorrow, a little bit further into this. God bless you. Have a great day, and I hope to connect with you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.